The air around the Galactic Shopping Center buzzed, not just from the thrumming of hovercraft engines but also from the rich scents wafting through the venue. Freshly baked galactic pastries mingled with the savory scent of alien meat dishes, each stall bursting with vibrant colors and exotic aromas. Maria Santos could practically taste the excitement in the air as she navigated her delivery hovercraft through the busy lanes of the shopping center. Today was the annual Interspecies Food Festival, and it had drawn crowds from across the universe. The moment she stepped inside her compact hovercraft, Maria felt the familiar thrill coursing through her veins. The sleek controls, lit up with soft blue lights, were her console to adventure. "All right, let's make some deliveries," she muttered to herself, slipping on her cap and adjusting her satchel filled with pizza boxes, their edges still warm from the oven. As she punched in the coordinates for her first delivery, a large tremor rattled the hovercraft. The vessel shuddered, and for a heartbeat, Maria's stomach dropped. "Come on, not today," she exclaimed, biting her lip, her mind racing through the sequence of checks she needed to perform. The hovercraft sputtered, its glimmering exterior dulled for a moment as if caught in the throes of a mechanical tantrum. "Damn it, I just had it serviced," Maria growled, glaring at the console. The green light indicating power levels flashed erratically, a bad sign. She took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the smells of the festival, a mix of hope and frustration. "Okay, think, Maria. You've got this." She flicked switches, her fingers working fast as she scanned the readouts. The hovercraft had become a cocoon of chaos, faint beeping echoed alongside her thoughts, the breakdown of an otherwise smooth day. She needed to keep it together. The last thing she wanted was to be stranded during the busiest day of the year. "Come on, you old bucket of bolts," she pleaded, attempting to coax the machine back to life. Before she could react further, a group of children darted past, giggling loudly, their alien forms zipping with unnatural agility. Their laughter was contagious, breaking through her mounting stress. "Maybe I should have just become a pastry chef," she mused, chuckling at the possibility of icing cupcakes instead of dealing with malfunctioning hovercrafts. Suddenly, the hovercraft emitted a louder whine as the systems flickered back to life. Maria's heart raced, relief flooding through her. But just as swiftly, an unfamiliar greenish light began pulsing through the dashboard. "No, not that," she exclaimed. With a final sputter, the hovercraft made the decision for her. The engines failed completely, leaving her stranded amidst a sea of bustling shoppers and cheerful festival goers. The hovercraft settled awkwardly, its hum replaced by a disgruntled silence. "Great, just great," she muttered under her breath. Glancing up, she noticed the laughter of aliens nearby, their various forms and bright colors adding vibrancy to the chaotic scene. Maria's cheeks flushed slightly, feeling out of place. She wasn't just a simple pizza delivery driver today, she was part of an interspecies celebration, and her craft had chosen now to fail her. "Excuse me," a deep voice called, pulling her from her thoughts. Maria turned to face Zektar. He was an imposing figure with glistening emerald skin and bright orange patterns streaking across his arms. His eyes, large and sympathetic, softened as they met hers. "Is everything all right?" Maria's instinct was to brush it off, but something in Zektar's gaze made her pause. "Just having a bit of trouble, is all," she admitted, trying to sound casual. "Seems my hovercraft is, taking a little break." She chuckled nervously, but the scrunch of his brow told her he didn't find it funny. "They are quite temperamental, these machines," he remarked, looking over her hovercraft with a frown. "I have seen much worse, especially here during the festival. The energy fluctuations can be intense." She nodded, eyeing the flicker of lights on her console. "Yeah, guess I underestimated the traffic." Maria glanced past him, scanning the area. The festival swarmed with vendors, performers, and families, an enticing spectacle that had distracted everyone, including her hovercraft. Zektar shifted, his shoulders burdened with invisible weight. "I must find food for my children. They are hungry, and I promised to bring them something special." The sincerity in his tone tugged at her heart. "But it seems they will need to wait." "Could I offer my assistance? Really? You'd help?" "I mean, you could just grab some food before it's gone," Maria replied, slightly incredulous but grateful. No, it is not about my hunger. "They need me," he said, glancing back toward the eager children lingering at a stall, eyes wide with anticipation. It was clear to Maria that this was a father determined to provide for his family in a bustling sea of chaos. "All right then," she said, a spark of determination igniting within her. "With your help, maybe we can fix this thing." The tension in her shoulders eased slightly. "I mean, how hard can it be to troubleshoot a hovercraft?" Zektar chuckled softly, his laughter resonating like a warm breeze. "Let us see what we can do, Maria Santos." He stepped closer, examining the hovercraft's engine. "You know, I once thought of becoming an engineer," he trailed off, his fingers deftly moving over the machinery. As he began to help her, Maria felt the familiar weight of her worries lift. Maybe this malfunction could lead to something extraordinary. With Zektar by her side, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, even if it meant delivering pizza to a hungry, expectant alien family. In that moment, laughter transformed from a source of embarrassment into a shared connection, a thread weaving her into the fabric of something greater than herself. Little did she know, the troubles they were about to face would stretch far beyond the scope of the festival. A community, an unexpected friendship, and perhaps a bit of adventure awaited just beyond the hovercraft store. The vibrant sounds of the festival buzzed around Maria as she stood beside her stubborn hovercraft. Zektar examined the machine with a furrowed brow, his emerald skin glinting under the myriad of lights that adorned the Galactic Shopping Center. Maria could see the concern etched on his features. He was trying to be helpful, yet the hovercraft's stubbornness created an awkward barrier between them. "Can I help in any way?" Zektar asked, his voice deep and resonant, cutting through the laughter and chatter of the festival goers. "I might not understand your technology, but I can assist you in other ways." Maria appreciated the offer, though she felt a twinge of embarrassment at her predicament. "I appreciate it, but I'm afraid it's a bit beyond the scope of a friendly hand," she replied, forcing a smile. "Just needs a little time to breathe." The alien nodded, his large eyes blinking slowly as if contemplating her words. "I understand the feeling. Sometimes, we all need a moment," he said, the weight of his tone suggesting more than just the hovercraft's malfunction. "But while we wait, is there something you could show me? I've never experienced human food before." This caught Maria off guard. "You've never had pizza?" she asked, her eyebrows raising in surprise. The idea of an alien father who had never tasted her favorite dish was both amusing and fascinating. "Pizza? Is that what you humans call it?" Zektar asked, his curiosity unmasked. "What is it made of?" A grin spread across Maria's face. "It's a round flatbread topped with sauce, cheese, and various toppings. It's like a canvas for creativity." She realized she was getting excited about something that seemed mundane to her. She quickly rummaged through her satchel, hoping to find an extra slice. "I might have a leftover slice in here if you'd like to try?" Zektar's eyes widened in genuine anticipation. "Yes, please. I would like to experience this pizza." Maria pulled out a slice, the cheese still gleaming and slightly gooey. "Here, it's a classic pepperoni." She handed it over, and Zektar accepted it gingerly, as if it were a fragile artifact. He examined it closely, his orange-patterned fingers brushing over the toppings. "It smells interesting," he declared, taking a cautious bite. As he chewed, his expression shifted from curiosity to surprise, then delight. "This is unlike anything I have ever tasted. The flavors dance on my tongue." Maria laughed, the sound lightening her heart. "That's pizza for you. It's all about balancing flavors." She felt a surge of pride watching him savor the slice. "So, what do you usually eat?" Zektar hesitated, his expression momentarily clouded. "Our dietary restrictions are complex. We have limited options. Many of our traditional foods require extensive preparation and are unavailable on this planet. It is often easier to sustain my family on nutrient packs." "Nutrient packs?" Maria echoed, an eyebrow raised. "That doesn't sound appetizing at all. You're missing out on a lot of great food." He nodded solemnly. "True, it is difficult being a single father. I want to provide for my children, to give them experiences beyond just survival. I have been looking for ways to introduce them to new flavors, but it is challenging navigating what the universe has to offer. Food is a luxury, not a need." Her heart softened at his words. Here was a father, like any other, trying to give his children a taste of life beyond their usual existence. "Well, if you're up for it, I can help you explore the festival," she offered, feeling a spark of camaraderie. "There are all sorts of food stalls. You can introduce your kids to different flavors." Zektar's relief was palpable as he regarded her with gratitude. "That would be wonderful. I would like to know more about your human customs. But, what about your hovercraft?" "Don't worry about it," Maria waved a hand dismissively. "I'll figure it out later. Right now, let's make the most of this day." As they stepped away from the hovercraft, Maria felt a sense of freedom wash over her. The hovercraft might be out of commission, but what awaited them was far more exciting than any delivery she could make. The festival was alive with colors and sounds. They maneuvered through the crowd, the kaleidoscope of alien species painting the area with vivid hues. Maria could see the joy on Zektar's face as he took in his surroundings. A family of fluffy, pastel-hued beings laughed as they tossed a ball made of shimmering light back and forth. Nearby, a vendor was expertly slicing glimmering fruits with a precision that made Maria's mouth water. "What is that?" Zektar asked, pointing to a stall where an alien chef was grilling skewers of what looked like iridescent meat. "Those are called sprogs, a delicacy. You should try some. They're marinated in a special sauce," Maria replied, feeling more enthusiastic about the food than she had in a long time. As they approached the stall, the chef, a plump creature with a wide grin, welcomed them. "Ah, a human and a Zektar. What will it be? He gestured at the sizzling skewers. Maria leaned closer to Zektar, her voice low. Trust me, you can even share some with your kids if you want. Just take a leap of faith. Zektar chuckled, the sound deep and warm. I will take your advice, human. Let us share in this culinary adventure. As they sampled various dishes and exchanged laughter, Maria realized how much she had underestimated the bond she was forming with Zektar. It felt like they were navigating uncharted territory, not just in the festival but in their understanding of each other. As they continued to explore the festival, Maria felt a sense of purpose growing inside her. Perhaps helping a father like Zektar not only enriched his life but also brought her a renewed sense of joy in her own. Yet in the back of her mind, the hovercraft's failure loomed large. But for now, she decided to let that go. After all, today was about more than just deliveries, it was about connection, empathy, and discovering the universe's flavors together. In this moment, Maria knew they were just at the start of a journey that would challenge their perceptions of one another and the universe around them. She could feel the anticipation thrumming in her veins, wondering what was next, not just for her, but for Zektar and the children he cared for so deeply. As Maria led Zektar through the bustling food festival, the cacophony of laughter, sizzling delicacies, and chatter enveloped them. The array of stalls presented a kaleidoscope of colors and aromas, each enticing dish vying for attention. Over there, Maria pointed, her excitement palpable. That stall has the best fried galaxy fritters. You have to try them. Zektar's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Fried galaxy fritters? What are those? It's a delicacy made from a special type of cosmic fruit, Maria explained, her enthusiasm infectious. They're crispy on the outside and soft inside, usually served with a tangy sauce. You'll love them. As they approached the stall, a tall figure loomed behind the counter, his skin a deep shade of blue with iridescent patterns that shifted as he moved. His imposing stature made him seem even more intimidating. The vendor's eyes narrowed as he looked at Maria and Zektar. What do you want, humans? He spat, his voice dripping with disdain. Maria felt her excitement wane for a moment. We'd like to try some fried galaxy fritters, please, she said, forcing a smile. She could sense the underlying hostility from the vendor, and it made her uneasy. Fried galaxy fritters? Why waste good food on inferior species? He scoffed, crossing his arms. The other patrons around them fell silent, sensing the tension rising in the air. Excuse me? Maria shot back, irritation bubbling up inside her. You don't even know what you're talking about. Human food might not be the same as your, whatever that is. She gestured at the unidentifiable dish behind the vendor, but that doesn't make it less valuable. Zektar watched the unfolding scene, his expression a mixture of concern and curiosity. Maria, perhaps we shouldn't know, she interrupted, her voice steadier than she felt. I won't let someone belittle what I enjoy, or what I can create. Turning back to the vendor, Maria took a deep breath, trying to maintain her composure. Food is about experiences and memories, not just sustenance. Every culture has its own flavors that tell a story. The vendor's sneer faltered for just a moment, but he quickly regained his composure. Stories don't feed you. Nutrient packs are what keep you alive, he replied dismissively, but there was a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. Zektar, sensing an opportunity to bridge the gap, stepped forward. In my culture, we also value stories, but we express them through food. Like your nourishment, ours provides comfort and connection. Maria is right, food is a medium of culture. His deep voice resonated, and the vendor's expression softened slightly, though he remained defensive. I don't need a lecture from a human sympathizer, the vendor snapped, but his tone lacked conviction. Perhaps you could try something different? Zektar suggested, tilting his head. You seem to have a strong opinion about human food without having tasted it yourself. What if you shared a meal with us? There was an unexpected calmness in his proposal, as if he were offering a peace treaty rather than a business exchange. The vendor hesitated, caught off guard by the alien's earnestness. I don't eat inferior food, he replied, though his voice lacked the confidence of before. Why not try it? Just one bite, Maria urged, her confidence growing. You might be surprised. She could see a flicker of curiosity in the vendor's eyes, battling with his disdain. After a long pause, the vendor finally relented, albeit grudgingly. Fine. One bite, he grumbled, reaching for a fritter as Maria and Zektar exchanged surprised glances. Perfect. Maria beamed. I'll even get an extra for you, just in case you like it. She quickly ordered another 2 fried galaxy fritters, the vendor's expression a mixture of skepticism and reluctant intrigue. Here, she handed him the fritter, watching as he inspected it as if it were a complicated machine. The vendor took a hesitant bite, and a moment later, his eyes widened. Surprised, he chewed thoughtfully, the flavors apparently challenging his previous notions. Well, Maria prompted, barely containing her grin. It's not terrible, he admitted, his voice low and uncertain, as if admitting defeat. Different, but not awful.
Zektar nodded encouragingly. Different can be good. It broadens our understanding.
Maria felt a rush of triumph.
See, food isn't just about survival, it's about experience.
The vendor, though still guarded, seemed momentarily taken aback, caught in a swirl of emotions. As the vendor chewed, his expression morphed from skepticism to realization. Perhaps I judged too quickly, he muttered, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. But you still won't convince me that your culinary methods surpass ours. Maybe not surpass, but they have their own merits, Maria said, her voice firm yet friendly.
What is it like to prepare human food?
Zektar asked, his interest piqued by the cultural exchange.
Maria's eyes sparkled. It's all about using fresh ingredients and understanding flavors. Cooking for someone is like sharing a part of yourself. You want to create something that brings joy. Joy, Zektar echoed, contemplating the word.
In my culture, much of our food comes pre-prepared, leaving little room for joy in the act of creation. You should definitely try cooking something from scratch, Maria suggested, her excitement palpable.
How about we make a dish together sometime? I'd love to show you how to make pizza. The vendor snorted. Pizza? You think that will impress me?
It might surprise you, Zektar replied, a hint of mischief in his tone. Perhaps I will learn something valuable. As laughter began to ripple through the crowd again, Maria felt a sense of accomplishment.
The initial tension had transformed into a moment of shared understanding.
They had bridged a cultural divide through the simplest of acts, food. Thank you, Maria said to Zektar, her voice warm with gratitude.
You really helped me stand my ground back there.
Zektar smiled, his emerald skin glimmering in the festival lights.
And you showed me that being human is about much more than survival. You have a strength I admire.
As they continued through the festival, a newfound connection blossomed between them, enriched by the exploration of culinary cultural exchange. Maria's confidence soared. She could navigate conflicts, even with the most stubborn of vendors. Next time, let's find something even more adventurous to try, she suggested, feeling more at ease in her own skin. Perhaps we can even share a meal with my children, Zektar proposed, his eyes reflecting hope and excitement.
I'd love that, Maria responded.
The festival felt brighter now, and as the two wandered further into the vibrant chaos, she realized how much they had both grown in just a short time. The adventure was just beginning, and she couldn't wait to dive deeper into the culinary mysteries of the universe, one flavor at a time. As the vendor hesitantly chewed the fried galaxy fritter, a flicker of surprise crossed his features, quickly masked by a scowl. Maybe it's not completely worthless, he muttered, but Maria could see the gears turning in his mind.
See, she said, grinning at Zektar.
Food can unite us, even if we come from different worlds.
Zektar nodded appreciatively. Perhaps we can create something together. I want to understand this culinary art further. It seems chaotic, yet beautiful. Maria chuckled. You have no idea. Cooking is all about improvisation. Let's head back to my place, and I'll show you how to make a pizza. Pizza? Zektar repeated, intrigued. Is that another human delicacy? Exactly. It's one of the most popular dishes on Earth. You'll love it, she said as they walked away from the stall, leaving the vendor to ponder the unexpected pleasure of the fritter. Back at Maria's small but cozy kitchen, the air was filled with the warm, inviting scent of basil and garlic. Zektar stood beside her, his large hands hovering over the countertop as if he were unsure of the shape and texture of the various ingredients spread out before him. First, we need to make the dough, Maria explained, grabbing a bowl and measuring out flour. You'll want it to be soft but not sticky. Think of it as a blank canvas. Zektar tilted his head, scanning the ingredients. Canvas? Is this also a form of art? Maria laughed. Cooking can definitely be an art form, but let's focus on the pizza for now. You'll see. She demonstrated how to knead the dough, her hands rhythmically folding and pushing the mixture. Zektar watched intently, his brow furrowed as he attempted to replicate her movements. However, his attempts resulted in a pile of flour-covered chaos instead of dough. Am I doing it correctly? He asked, looking at the mess he created. Not quite, Maria said, trying to suppress a laugh. You're too gentle. You have to assert yourself, like you mean it. With a glimmer of determination in his eyes, Zektar pushed his palms into the dough with more force. The result was a squished ball of flour and yeast that flopped unimpressively. This is more difficult than I anticipated, he confessed, shaking his head. Maria placed a hand on his shoulder. Hey, don't worry. Cooking isn't about perfection. It's about having fun and experimenting. Let's try it again together. As they worked side by side, Maria noticed Zektar's initial awkwardness melting away. He started to embrace the messy nature of cooking, laughing at his own failures. You humans certainly have a different approach to food preparation. Back home, we simply inject nutrient-rich compounds into our energy pods, he admitted. Sounds efficient, but where's the fun in that? Maria replied, grinning. Food isn't just fuel, it's an experience. It can tell stories and bring people together. Zektar paused, contemplating her words. You are right. I find the chaos of human cooking rather liberating. It's like a dance, isn't it? Exactly. It's all about rhythm, she encouraged, feeling their bond deepen. Once they managed to create a somewhat decent dough, it was time to prepare the toppings. Maria laid out tomato sauce, cheese, and a selection of spices. Zektar's eyes widened as he observed the vibrant colors. What are these strange objects? He asked, holding up a piece of pepperoni. Just wait until you taste it. It's a classic topping, she said, smiling. Now, you can layer them however you like. Zektar placed the pepperoni slices in an intricate pattern, his alien aesthetic contrasting with Maria's more haphazard creativity. This is fascinating. It is like a mosaic, he mused, pressing the toppings firmly into the cheese. Now, into the oven, Maria declared, sliding the pizza onto a baking sheet. While we wait, let's talk about your food culture. What else do you prepare? Zektar recounted tales of his home planet, where meals were prepared in elaborate ceremonies, often involving music and dance. He described how they used special bioluminescent plants in their dishes, which could change colors, enriching the dining experience. Wow, that sounds amazing, Maria exclaimed. We should try to incorporate some of those elements into our fusion dish for the festival cooking competition. Fusion dish? Zektar repeated, his eyes glinting with excitement. You mean to combine our methods of culinary expression? Exactly. Why not bring together the best of both our worlds, she suggested, her heart racing at the prospect of collaboration. Just then, the oven timer beeped, interrupting their conversation. Maria opened the door, and a wave of heat and delicious scent enveloped them. The pizza emerged golden brown, bubbling cheese intermingling with the rich aroma of spices. Look at that, she said, beaming. I think we did it. Zektar leaned closer, his nostrils flaring as he took in the scent. This is wonderful. But how do we taste it properly? Easy. We cut it and share, Maria said, slicing the pizza into generous wedges. Here, try a piece. He took a cautious bite, his eyes widening in genuine surprise. This is incredible. The flavors are complex, he said, his expression shifting from disbelief to delight. See, it's all about blending different tastes and techniques. You're a natural. As they enjoyed the fruits of their labor, Maria felt a warmth spread through her, not just from the food but from the connection they were forming. Laughter and excitement filled the kitchen as they shared their culinary triumphs and failures. Maria, Zektar began, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. This experience has opened my eyes. I see now that creativity can thrive in chaos. Exactly. And working together, we can create something truly unique for the competition, she replied, her heart swelling with pride. As they finished their slices, Maria felt a spark of inspiration. Let's start brainstorming ideas for our fusion dish. We need to impress the judges and show them the beauty of our cultures combined. Zektar nodded eagerly. Yes, let's use our experiences to create a masterpiece. In that moment, Maria knew they were on the brink of something special. Together, they would merge their worlds, and as their friendship deepened, so too would their understanding of each other's cultures. As the pizza baked in the oven, the aroma of melting cheese and spices wafted through the cozy kitchen, wrapping around Maria and Zektar like a warm blanket. Maria watched Zektar with a mix of amusement and admiration. His enthusiasm for their culinary experiment was infectious. Just as she was about to suggest they prepare a salad to accompany the pizza, the doorbell rang, interrupting her thoughts. Who could that be? Maria wondered aloud, glancing at Zektar, whose curiosity was piqued. Opening the door revealed a group of competitors from the festival, their faces set in grim expressions. Maria Santos, one of the competitors, a tall, lanky figure with a thick accent, called out, stepping forward. We need to talk. Okay, Maria replied, sensing trouble. She exchanged nervous glances with Zektar, who stood beside her, visibly confused. We saw your little cooking session, the competitor continued, leaning in closer. You think you can just come to our festival and take our spotlight with your human food? Maria felt her stomach twist. We're not trying to take anything away from anyone. We just want to share what we love, she asserted, trying to keep her voice steady. Love, the competitor scoffed, crossing his arms. You humans don't understand the first thing about real cooking. We have traditions that go back generations. You think you can just waltz in and win the competition with your pizza? Zektar's eyes narrowed, his body tense beside Maria. What you fail to understand is that food is not merely a tradition, it is a shared experience, he interjected, his voice firm but calm. Maria felt a rush of gratitude for his support. The competitor laughed, the sound harsh and mocking. What does a pile of gooey cheese and dough have to do with sharing experiences? You'll only embarrass yourselves. We'll make sure of it. Before Maria could respond, the group turned and walked away,
their laughter echoing down the hallway. The frustration bubbled inside her. "They think they can intimidate us just because we're different," she muttered, her hands clenching into fists. Zektar placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We will not let them deter us, Maria. This is our opportunity to prove that food can unite us, regardless of our origins." "Right," Maria said, taking a deep breath to calm the storm of emotions swirling within her. "We have to stay focused. We can't let their negativity affect us. We need to be ready for the competition." As the timer dinged, signaling the pizza's completion, Maria quickly removed it from the oven, the cheese bubbling and the crust golden brown. "Look at this," she exclaimed, holding it up proudly. "This is our creation." Zektar gazed at the pizza with wide eyes, his expression a mix of awe and excitement. "It is magnificent. Such colors, such vibrancy." He reached out to touch the warm surface, his fingers hovering just above the toppings. Maria grinned, momentarily forgetting their earlier confrontation. "Now, let's taste it before we head back to the festival." They each grabbed a slice, the cheese stretching as they pulled it apart. Maria took a bite, savoring the flavors bursting in her mouth. Zektar followed suit, his eyes lighting up as he chewed. "This is incredible," he exclaimed, his voice filled with genuine surprise. "The flavors are explosive." Maria laughed, feeling a sense of camaraderie grow between them. "See, cooking can be fun and delicious. Now, let's get ready. We need to impress the judges, and we can't let those competitors ruin our vibe." As they cleaned up the kitchen, Maria's mind raced with thoughts about the competition. They would face the rival vendor soon, and the pressure was mounting. Suddenly, a plan began to form in her mind. What if we show the judges not just the pizza but the process behind it? The joy we had making it together? Zektar nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, we can demonstrate the importance of teamwork and creativity. It is not just about the end result, but the journey we take to create it." "Exactly," Maria replied, her excitement bubbling over. "Let's emphasize our partnership. We can talk about how cooking can bridge gaps between cultures, and if those competitors try to sabotage us again, we'll just have to be even better." As they made their way to the festival, Maria's determination solidified. She understood that this was about more than just winning. It was about breaking barriers and bringing people together through food. Zektar walked beside her, his presence a comforting reminder that they were in this together. Arriving at the festival grounds, Maria observed the vibrant stalls and the diverse crowds buzzing with anticipation. The atmosphere was electric, but the tension from before lingered like a shadow. She spotted the rival vendor, who was eyeing them with a mix of disdain and calculated hostility. "Just ignore them," Maria whispered to Zektar as they set up their booth. "We'll let our pizza do the talking." As the competition began, judges roamed from booth to booth, sampling the culinary creations. Maria and Zektar took turns explaining their pizza, sharing stories of their collaboration and how they embraced each other's differences in the process. "Pizza is a canvas," Maria explained, her voice steady. "It represents the blend of cultures, the chaos of cooking, and the beauty of trying something new." Zektar added, "This dish is not just food, it is a testament to the power of partnership and creativity. We hope it encourages others to try and connect, just as we have." The judges nodded, intrigued by their presentation, but Maria felt a knot of anxiety in her stomach. Would it be enough? Then, as if sensing the tension in the air, the rival vendor made his move. He approached their booth, a smug grin on his face. "Enjoying your moment in the spotlight?" he sneered. "Just wait until the judges taste our traditional dish. They won't be fooled by your chaos." Maria's heart raced, but she forced herself to stand tall. "You can deny us all you want, but our food is a reflection of who we are, and that's something you can't take away." The vendor scoffed but was interrupted by the judges, who were now approaching their booth again, eager to taste the pizza. Maria held her breath, hoping that her words and their creation would resonate with them. As the judges sampled their pizza, Maria's heart pounded in her chest. The moment felt suspended in time, her hopes hanging on the edge of their reaction. Would they see the value in what she and Zektar had created, or would they succumb to the prejudice that lingered in the air? With bated breath, she awaited their verdict, knowing that the outcome could change everything. Maria took a deep breath, her heart racing as she and Zektar made their way back to the festival. The weight of their earlier confrontation lingered in her mind like a stubborn stain, but as she glanced at Zektar, she felt a flicker of hope. They had their pizza, and now they were armed with a new plan, one that could bridge the divide between their cultures through food. "Let's make this the best pizza they've ever tasted," she said, determination filling her voice. Zektar nodded, his emerald skin shimmering with anticipation. "What are we adding?" he asked, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. Maria had an idea. "We need to be creative. The festival is full of unique ingredients from different species. Let's use them to add a twist to our pizza." Zektar's excitement was palpable as they navigated through the vibrant market stalls, each overflowing with exotic produce and unfamiliar spices. The colors dazzled her: radiant oranges, deep reds, and vivid greens. A couple of alien vendors waved at them, their gestures welcoming yet cautious. "Look over there." Maria pointed toward a stall adorned with strange, glowing fruits. "Those could be an interesting addition." Zektar peered closely, his brow furrowing. "But what if the judges do not appreciate our creativity?" he asked, a hint of doubt creeping into his voice. "Creativity is what makes food special," Maria replied, her voice steady. "Let's show them that we can blend our traditions, not just replicate them." They approached the stall, run by an alien named Nex, who was stacking the glowing fruits. "What are these?" Maria asked, gesturing toward the vibrant orbs. "Narcree," Nex replied, his voice smooth like silk. "They enhance flavors and are considered a delicacy in my culture. Try one." He handed a fruit to Maria, its surface slick and cool. She bit into it, and an explosion of tangy sweetness filled her mouth. "Delicious," she exclaimed, her eyes widening. "We'll take some." As they continued gathering ingredients, Maria felt her confidence swell. They filled their basket with various items: a spicy alien pepper, fragrant herbs from another vendor, and a strange cheese that Zektar insisted would complement their pizza perfectly. Each new addition was a step toward not just creating a dish but crafting a story that reflected their collaboration. With their ingredients in hand, they hurried back to the kitchen tent, where the competition was taking place. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, the air thick with scents of grilling meats and frying foods. Maria felt her stomach twist again, not from fear, but excitement. "All right, Zektar, let's do this," she said, rolling up her sleeves. They worked side by side, laughter blending with the sounds of sizzling and chopping. As they prepared the dough, Maria explained each step, sharing not just how to mix the ingredients but the joy of cooking together. Zektar listened intently, occasionally interrupting with questions about the various textures and techniques. "Why do you need the dough?" he asked, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It helps develop the gluten, making the crust chewy," she explained, demonstrating the motion. "Cooking is a form of art, and every step matters." Zektar nodded, absorbing her words. "In my culture, we have rituals for preparing food, but I never thought of it as art." "It is a necessity." "Food can be both," Maria replied, her heart swelling. "It's a way to connect, to share ourselves with others." As the pizza began to take shape, Maria added the narcree, the spicy alien pepper, and the exotic cheese, watching Zektar's eyes widen with curiosity. "This will create a unique fusion," she said, sprinkling the ingredients on top. "Fusion," he echoed, a smile breaking across his face. "I like that concept. It is a blend of our worlds." When the pizza was finally assembled, they slid it into the oven, the aroma immediately filling the tent with a tantalizing scent. "Now we wait," Maria said, wiping her hands on her apron, her heart racing with anticipation. Just then, the judges arrived, their expressions unreadable. The head judge, a stern-looking alien named Rune, surveyed the tent. "What do we have here?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. Maria stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her stomach. "We're presenting a fusion pizza that combines our cultures. We want to show how food can unite us, rather than divide us." Zektar chimed in, his tone earnest. "This dish is a representation of collaboration between species, a way to celebrate our differences." The judges exchanged glances, curiosity evident in their eyes. "Interesting approach," Rune replied, leaning closer to the oven. "And what are your ingredients?" "Traditional pizza dough, topped with narcree, spicy peppers, and an exotic cheese," Maria said, pride swelling in her chest. "We wanted to create something that tells a story." As the timer dinged, they pulled the pizza from the oven, the melted cheese bubbling and the crust perfectly golden. Maria placed it on the table, and the judges leaned in, intrigued. Rune took the first slice, lifting it to his mouth. The crowd around them fell silent, all eyes fixated on the judges' reactions. Maria held her breath, waiting for a response. The moment Rune took a bite, his eyes widened with surprise. "This is unexpectedly delightful," he said, a hint of a smile breaking through his stern demeanor. "The flavors are bold, yet harmonious." The crowd erupted in murmurs of approval, and Maria felt a rush of excitement. Zektar's face lit up, pure joy radiating from him. "We did it," he exclaimed, throwing his arms in the air. But just as they began to celebrate, Maria noticed the rival vendor from earlier lurking at the edge of the crowd, a scowl on his face. She felt a surge of tension spike in the air, aware that the rivalry was far from over. "Let's not get too comfortable," she whispered to Zektar, her confidence now mingled with apprehension. "They're not done with us yet." As the judges continued to sample their pizza, Maria realized that this was only the beginning. They had captured the judges' attention, but they would have to brace themselves for whatever the competitors plotted next. This was not just a culinary challenge, it was a battle for respect, for acceptance, and most importantly, for understanding. "Bring it on," she muttered under her breath, her resolve strengthening. Together, they would show everyone that their differences could create something beautiful. As the aroma of their unique pizza wafted through the bustling kitchen tent, Maria felt a surge of adrenaline. She and Zektar had put their hearts into this dish, blending their cultures in a way that she hoped would bridge the gap between their worlds. However, as they prepared to present their creation to the eager crowd outside, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. "Look who it is," a voice cut through the air, sharp and mocking. Maria turned to see a rival vendor, a stout alien with a shock of blue hair and an expression that screamed contempt. His stall, adorned with trophies from past festivals, was a stark contrast to the modest setup of Maria and Zektar, the human and her pet project. "How cute!" Zektar's shoulders tensed beside her. Maria felt a wave of anger rush through her but quickly reminded herself of their mission. "We're just here to share our food," she replied, trying to keep her composure. The rival vendor took a step closer, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Share? You mean to embarrass yourselves in front of the best culinary minds in the galaxy?" He gestured to the growing crowd, who began to murmur and laugh at his words. "Do you really think anyone wants to taste a human's version of our traditions?" Maria's heart sank. She had hoped the festival would be a celebration of cultures, not a competition defined by prejudice. "We're not trying to take away from anyone's traditions," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil within her. "We're celebrating them." Zektar, who had been silently watching, suddenly stepped forward. "You do not understand," he said, his voice firm and clear. "Food is about more than tradition. It is about connection, creativity, and understanding." Maria glanced sideways at him, surprised by his boldness. This was the same Zektar who had been so hesitant just hours before. The rival vendor scoffed, his expression darkening. "Understanding? You think a human and an alien can truly connect over food? You're just a joke to them. A novelty." Maria's anger flared, but Zektar placed a hand on her shoulder, grounding her. "Let them laugh," he said, his eyes shining with determination. "We will show them the power of our collaboration." Feeling the weight of Zektar's confidence, Maria took a deep breath. "You'll see," she said to the rival vendor. "Our pizza will speak for itself." The crowd, initially drawn in by the rival's mockery, began to whisper among themselves, their curiosity piqued. "Let's show them," Zektar said, his voice low but resolute. "Let's show them what we can create together." With that, they turned towards the oven, where their pizza was reaching its golden brown peak. The sizzling sound and enticing aroma enveloped them as they pulled it out, steam rising in swirling tendrils. Maria couldn't help but smile. The fusion of their ingredients had created a masterpiece. The vibrant colors of the narcree glistened against the melted cheese, while the spicy alien pepper glowed like embers. "Look at that," Zektar exclaimed, his eyes wide with excitement. "It is beautiful." "Yes, it is," Maria agreed, pride swelling in her chest. "Now, let's serve it." When they approached the crowd, the rival vendor stepped back, his sneer replaced with an expression of disbelief. The crowd, previously captivated by his taunts, now shifted their attention to Maria and Zektar, drawn in by the enticing aroma and vibrant colors of the pizza. "Human and alien working together," a voice from the crowd called out, a mix of skepticism and intrigue. "What's this all about?" Maria took a step forward, her heart pounding in her chest. "We wanted to create something that represents both of our cultures," she explained, gesturing to Zektar. "Food is a language we can all understand, one that can break down barriers." The crowd murmured, some nodding in agreement, while others exchanged glances, uncertain. Zektar squeezed her shoulder reassuringly, encouraging her to continue. "We hope this pizza can show that even the most different of us can come together over something as simple as a meal." "Let's taste it," someone shouted, breaking the tension. A ripple of eagerness coursed through the crowd, and suddenly, they were all reaching out, hands stretched toward the pizza. Maria's heart raced as she and Zektar began slicing the pizza into pieces, offering them up one by one. As the first few bites were taken, silence fell over the crowd. Maria's stomach twisted with nerves, but she forced herself to stay calm. Moments later, a murmur of approval spread through the crowd. "This is amazing," someone exclaimed, and another voice chimed in, "The flavors are incredible." Maria blinked in disbelief. The rival vendor stood frozen, mouth agape, as the crowd began to cheer for Maria and Zektar. The laughter that had initially echoed from the rival vendor was now replaced with appreciative claps and exclamations of delight. Zektar beamed, his emerald skin seemingly glowing in the festival lights. "They like it," he said, his voice filled with awe. "Of course they do." Maria laughed, feeling the weight of the moment lift off her shoulders. "We did this together." But just as they began to celebrate this small victory, the rival vendor stepped back into the fray, his face darkening with anger. "This is unacceptable," he shouted, drawing attention back to himself.
You can't just walk in here and think you can change everything. Humans are nothing but a nuisance.
The cheers began to fade, replaced by a tense silence. Maria felt her heart drop again, but Zektar stepped forward, his expression fierce.
You are wrong, he said, his voice rising above the crowd. Humans are more than just nuisances.
They have creativity and passion, just like any other species. As the crowd shifted again, caught between the two opposing forces, Maria felt a surge of determination. This was it, they were on the brink of something monumental.
We deserve to be here, she called out, her voice steady. We deserve to share our food, our culture. It's time for inclusivity.
The crowd started to murmur again, this time with a sense of agreement. Maria could feel the energy shifting. They were ready to challenge the prejudices that had long been present at the festival.
Let's defend our right to be a part of this,
Zektar added, his voice strong and unwavering. The tide was turning, and Maria felt hope flood her heart. As they prepared to confront the rival vendors' prejudices head-on, Maria glanced at Zektar, her partner in this culinary adventure. In that moment, she realized they were no longer just a human and an alien, they were allies united by a shared purpose. And together, they would rise to the challenge, proving that even in the face of adversity, the bonds they formed through food and friendship were unbreakable.
Let's show them what we can do, Maria said, her voice resolute. Zektar nodded, a fierce determination in his eyes.
Together, they would defend their place in this festival and challenge the boundaries that had kept them apart for too long. As the crowd shifted their focus toward Maria and Zektar, anticipation hung thick in the air. The aroma of the pizza, a fusion of human and anarchy ingredients, enveloped the festival area, drawing curious expressions from the onlookers. Maria felt the heat of their gazes, a mix of skepticism and intrigue, washing over her.
Food is a language we can all understand, one that can break down barriers, she said, her voice infused with passion.
The moment hung delicately in the balance. One misstep could send them crashing back into the realm of ridicule. Yet, there was something electric about the atmosphere, a shared hope that perhaps this daring culinary experiment could transcend their differences. Zektar stepped closer to Maria, his emerald eyes wide with determination.
We have each brought something special to this dish.
The anarchy spices and the love baked into human pizza.
It's not just about the ingredients, it's about the journey we took to create it together.
He turned to the crowd, his voice resonating with sincerity.
We are all from different backgrounds, but we can unite. Food is a celebration of that unity.
A few murmurs of agreement rippled through the audience.
Maria could see a shift, a curiosity igniting in their eyes.
She took a breath, fueled by Zektar's words, and continued, "This pizza represents our shared experiences, our struggles, and our victories.
It is a symbol of what we can achieve when we work together."
As she spoke, she noticed a glimmer of interest from a young Xenian child at the front of the crowd, her wide eyes reflecting the colorful toppings of the pizza. Maria leaned down slightly, her voice softening.
Have you ever tried something new that made you feel different? Something that changed how you see the world?
The girl nodded, her head bobbing enthusiastically. Maria smiled, encouraged by this small connection. The rival vendor, who had been watching silently with a scowl, couldn't contain himself any longer.
You think a simple pizza can change minds? It's just a gimmick.
His voice was loud, and the crowd hesitated, caught in a web of tension. Maria felt a pang of doubt but quickly pushed it aside.
Not just a pizza, she replied, her voice steady. It's a story.
It's me, a human, collaborating with Zektar, an anarchy. It's about understanding each other and valuing what we all bring to the table.
Zektar nodded vigorously. Exactly. It is more than food. It is about empathy and connection.
We are not just two different species, we are two friends sharing what we love. The crowd began to stir, a wave of murmured conversations washing over them. The laughter from earlier had subsided, replaced by tentative smiles and nods of agreement. Maria felt a flicker of hope igniting in her chest. "So, are you willing to try it?" she asked, her heart racing. One by one, hands began to rise from the crowd. "I'll try it," called a voice from the back, quickly followed by others echoing the sentiment. Maria's heart soared as she and Zektar began to serve slices to eager hands. Each slice they handed out felt like a small victory, a step toward bridging the gap between their worlds.
The first few bites were taken with hesitance, the crowd eyeing each other for reactions.
Then, one Xenian man, a mustached figure with a deep laugh that resonated in the air, took a bite and froze. His eyes widened, then he erupted in laughter.
"This is amazing." The ripple of laughter spread through the audience like wildfire.
Others began to eat, and soon, cries of delight filled the air. Maria couldn't help but join in the laughter, her heart lightening with every smile that passed their way. She glanced at Zektar, whose expression was one of sheer joy, and she felt their connection deepen. "This is what I meant, Maria," Zektar said, his voice barely audible over the cheers. "Food can unite us in ways we've never imagined." As the crowd devoured the pizza, the rival vendor's scowl deepened into an expression of disbelief. Maria felt a rush of triumph swell within her. Perhaps this festival wasn't just a platform for culinary competition after all, it was a chance for understanding, for growth. Yet, the moment was fleeting. The judges, a panel of culinary experts from various species, emerged from the shadows, their eyes scanning the crowd. Maria's stomach twisted with anxiety as they approached. This was it, the final judging was upon them. The stakes had risen higher than ever, as now, their message was not just about food but about cultural unity. "Thank you for your patience, everyone," one of the judges, a tall and elegant figure with shimmering scales, began. "We've tasted many dishes today, but what we've just experienced goes beyond flavor." The crowd quieted, hanging on his every word. "Your collaboration has inspired a new narrative, a beautiful melding of traditions that transcends borders." Maria felt her heart race. The crowd erupted in cheers once more, and she caught Zektar's eye, a shared understanding passing between them. They had done more than just create a dish, they were forging connections that could resonate beyond this festival. "Today, we celebrate not just food but the spirit of togetherness," the judge continued, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. "And we can only hope that this spirit lives on long after the festival ends." The applause thundered around them, and Maria felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. This was it, the moment they had worked towards. The crowd had shifted, from mockery to curiosity, and now to acceptance. They had proven that their partnership was not just a novelty, it was a powerful testament to what could be achieved when they embraced diversity. As the judges conferred among themselves, Maria and Zektar exchanged a hopeful glance. They still had one final challenge to face, but for now, they had ignited a spark of change. And as the crowd continued to cheer, Maria knew they could face whatever came next together. As the crowd continued to erupt in laughter and delight, Maria and Zektar exchanged glances filled with a mix of disbelief and joy. The pizza had become more than just a meal, it was a symbol of unity, a bridge between their worlds. Maria felt the warmth of the moment wrap around her like a comforting blanket, easing the tension that had once threatened to suffocate them. "Can you believe this?" Maria said, her voice barely rising above the cheers. "They love it." Zektar nodded, his eyes sparkling. "It is as if they are tasting not just the food, but the essence of our friendship." Their moment was interrupted by the rival vendor, who stood at the periphery, arms crossed and expression sour. The laughter from the crowd seemed to mock him, and he clenched his jaw, struggling to maintain his composure. "This is just a fad," he scoffed, though the hint of uncertainty in his voice betrayed his bravado. Maria took a step forward, her heart pounding. "If it's a fad, then why are people smiling? Why are they coming back for more?" she challenged, her voice steady and resolute. The vendor hesitated, his eyes darting to the crowd, where people were eagerly devouring the pizza. "Because they're curious," he retorted, though the confidence in his tone was dwindling. "Curiosity fades," Zektar chimed in, "but curiosity can lead to understanding. That is what we have shown today." He gestured to the gathering, where friends from different species were now sharing slices, laughing, and exchanging stories. Maria felt a rush of empowerment surge through her. This is just the beginning. We can create a whole new category of food that celebrates our differences. Imagine a fusion food festival next year, where every stall showcases the best of both worlds. The crowd erupted in approval, and Maria's idea sparked a new wave of excitement. "Yes, we want more," voices called out, and she could see the glimmer of possibility in their eyes. The festival organizers, who had been observing from a distance, stepped forward, their expressions shifting from skepticism to intrigue. One of them, a tall Zinnian woman with a keen gaze, approached Maria and Zektar. "You've sparked something remarkable here. We're considering adding a new category for fusion foods, promoting inclusivity in future events." Maria's heart raced. "Really? That would be incredible." Zektar's face lit up, and he clasped his hands together. "This is what we hoped for, a celebration of our cultures through food." The Zinnian woman nodded, her expression softening. "You've shown us that collaboration can lead to innovation. We would like you both to be ambassadors for this new category." As the crowd cheered, Maria and Zektar exchanged a look of triumph. They had not only won the competition but had also opened the door to new possibilities. The laughter and joy around them felt like a warm embrace, a testament to the power of connection. "We did it, Zektar," Maria said, her voice filled with emotion. "We changed their minds." Zektar smiled, a genuine light in his emerald eyes. "And we did it together. This is just the beginning." As the festival continued, they spent the rest of the day mingling with the crowd, sharing stories, and enjoying the vibrant atmosphere.
Maria felt a sense of belonging that she hadn't anticipated.
Each conversation deepened her understanding of the Narcree culture and their perspectives, and she shared her own experiences, weaving a tapestry of connection that transcended their initial differences. Later that evening, as the festival began to wind down, Maria and Zektar set aside some pizza for themselves, finding a quiet corner away from the bustling crowd. The sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the Galactic Shopping Center, and they sat on a low wall, savoring their creation. "This tastes even better now," Maria said, taking a bite, her eyes sparkling with satisfaction. Zektar chuckled. "It is not just the pizza, it is the experience we have shared today." Maria nodded, reflecting on the journey they had taken together. "I never imagined a pizza could do this," she said, her voice softening. "But it's true, food really can bring us together." Zektar leaned back, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "And what we have created is more than just food. It is a friendship, a partnership. We have shown our worlds that collaboration is possible." Maria felt her heart swell with gratitude. "I'm so glad we met, Zektar. You've taught me so much about compassion and understanding. And you have shown me the beauty of human creativity," he replied, turning to her with sincerity. "Together, we can achieve incredible things." As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Maria and Zektar sat in comfortable silence, their bond solidified through shared experiences and newfound understanding. They both knew that this was not the end but the beginning of a beautiful collaboration. "Here's to many more culinary adventures," Maria said, raising her slice of pizza in a mock toast. "To friendship and unity," Zektar echoed, clinking his slice against hers. With laughter ringing in the air and a sense of hope blooming in their hearts, they took a bite, savoring not just the flavors of their creation but the promise of a future filled with understanding, respect, and delicious fusion foods yet to come. As the festival lights twinkled in the night, Maria and Zektar felt the weight of their journey lift, knowing they had not only changed perceptions but had also forged a lasting bond that would echo through the galaxies.